We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. It is Monday. We had Denise on yesterday, and thankfully, I did Denise the same day that I did Ed in their shows because I felt terrible yesterday. But I'm back on track now, and I needed to instill a certain amount of energy back into my life. And what better way than to bring Will up in the bitch?
Yeah,
Hey, Will, how
pretty
you
much.
doing?
Doing good. Yeah, it's getting old. We're old. That's what happens. You have
Yeah,
days where just shit doesn't work. You go, what happened? You're
yeah, a
sitting there
lot of
going,
shit doesn't work.
I used to do this shit at 2 in the morning. No, not anymore. Shit don't work
No.
like that no more.
No,
Yeah. Other than that,
we've got to know our limits.
yeah. Other than that, I'm doing fine. It's been a laundry list of stuff lately, and I think it's all play. It's all coming out from the distractions Trump's trying to throw up as Epstein gets worse and worse for him.
Yeah,
And he's getting backed into a corner, as you said. That's why we're seeing an escalation of a lot of things. But I was talking to you. I want to go over a couple of things here that people had talked about before, but I got some math and some things that we need to address. And so people kind of get an idea how deep this is, how bad this is right now
yeah. Let me
for
let
us.
me just say something leading into that. I read something today, and this is something I've always believed too. The media and we, the people, have always gone after Donald Trump for his crimes, his corruption, the 34 felony convictions, and that didn't even move the needle for Trump-a-fucks.
Nope.
They don't care. They don't care. What this former speechwriter for Donald Trump said: what you've got to do is go after the incompetence
Yep.
and the failures, because those are the things that drive Donald Trump nuts, and those are the things that cause the Trump-a-fucks to question him with Epstein. And the reason I bring it up now is because everything we talked about before we came on sounds like it's all based on incompetence more than anything.
Incompetence. Yeah. I mean, you know that he's got to make himself feel better from the stuff we've seen that what he's done to the interior of the Oval Office.
Right.
What the fuck is that? And that is so tacky, but I look at it and he even has a little shelf with his merchandise. There's a video of him with the leader of Azerbaijan, who is a dictator, giving him merchandise and talking about his merchandise. We don't have a White House anymore. We have a fucking Trump low rent hotel at this
Yeah.
point, which speaks to he needs all this stuff to make him feel better about himself because he knows deep inside he's a loser. Let's be honest. He knows it.
Yeah.
He's just been fucking lucky in his lifetime.
And that's and
So
that's and that's the
yeah,
thing about him. People have to understand is every day, all he's doing is trying to make himself look good. It's like with
right.
the Epstein thing. He's really locked in to prove that he's not tied to Epstein when that's not even really the
No,
issue. The people didn't know that he might be tied in. The Trump-a-fucks were too stupid to realize that. They wanted the Epstein files. So Donald Trump's trying to extricate himself from being complicit with the files. But even if he doesn't, that doesn't fix his problem. But he's so single minded and so narcissistic that he's only worried about covering his own ass. And
oh,
that's where he's
yeah.
fucking up.
And that's what we're going to talk about later in the podcast. I will warn everyone what we're going to discuss. It's going to be NC-17. And,
Well,
but
it
this is
usually
coming,
is.
yeah, but this is coming from the Trump biographer, Michael Wolff. And
Yeah.
when we talk about this and what I've read and what I'm going to put out here, as I told you before, I brought math today, guys, and math does not lie. And it's simple as that.
Do you remember
Um,
when Michael Wolff first came out, like in his first term, and was stating things? And there people are
yep.
going, "Oh, this is just a crazy guy looking to make money and sell books and all that stuff." People don't think that way anymore because the crazy
No,
shit he's saying now makes sense because we fucking seen it.
right. Exactly. And wait till you see this is what we're going to discuss exclusive from Midas Touch. You could find it in their Substack, but it is absolutely horrendous. And it should blow back too on the royal family. And we'll talk about that in a minute. One thing I want to talk about that's kind of been ignored with all the gaslighting that's been thrown up because of Epstein was ICE and what's about to happen in Monday in D.C. As we all know, apparently Big Balls from Doge got rolled in D.C. Apparently saving a woman from a bunch of colored people. Is that what I'm hearing? And he got worse.
This this sounds like the assassination attempt. It's just a
Exactly.
setup to set the tone. Big Balls, I tell you what, if Big Balls was in Washington D.C. and got attacked by a bunch of black people, he wouldn't be able to talk about it. He'd be done.
So Trump and that this coincided with Jeanine Pirro becoming the prosecutor of the D.C. federal
Right.
area, who's now saying that we should reduce the person being convicted of a crime, not being juvenile from 18 to 14. These people, they sort Almighty God. Monday, he's having a press conference, and he is going to federalize the police force or federalize DC. That's his intention. He's
What's
looking at
that
state.
mean exactly? What's that
Well,
mean exactly?
I don't know because we don't know because no one's ever done this shit. Okay. Again, as we've discussed many times, there is no check and balances because the judicial and the legislative branch have given into them and given the executive way too much power that our forefathers did not want them to have because you end up with a king.
Right.
But in response to what's going on, Trump is basically bringing in all the federal law enforcement agencies. There is 120 FBI agents on their way to be in D.C. to Monday to hit the streets looking for crime, carjacking, whatever. They're talking about the National Guard. But here's the thing that should make everyone nervous, and this kind of piggybacks on what's going on with ICE. ICE is taking away everyone's due process. When ICE shows up, if you're brown, as they said in South Park, if you're brown, you're going down. Okay? Doesn't matter. The raids are still going on in Los Angeles, even though the federal court said stop. They're still doing it.
Right.
I saw a raid where a woman is screaming, I'm an American citizen. They don't care. They're dragging her away. Once you get
Right.
into that detention center, you're fucked because you have no due process. You have no habeas corpus. And it's worse, and I'm going to touch on this real quick. In Pennsylvania, they've gone crazy. In Pittsburgh, a small Mexican restaurant called Emilio's has two restaurants. They were reported to have illegals. They hit one of those restaurants literally like a drug raid, tore the place apart, arrested 6 people. But what's worse, other than you can see there's a video, the damage is ridiculous. They tore the place up. They ruined the kitchen. They set the fucking kitchen on fire. They ripped out everything in the walk-ins, everything. And then the worst thing about security cameras caught ICE agents backing up their private vehicles to their service entrance and cleaning them out of stuff,
We're
food,
stealing the stuff.
supplies, stealing their shit. Okay, we keep hearing from Homan and all those fucking idiots, well, it's not Gestapo. Guess what? That's Gestapo. And you're going to be taking gold fillings from people soon. I know you are. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go read history, people. That's where they're at. So jump forward now. Trump has decided that if you're homeless in DC, you have to get out or we're picking you up. Okay, when did homelessness become a crime? And two, he just said American citizens have no due process because they don't have a home or they're down on their luck. That's where we're at, people. And
It's
he's
like them.
fucking serious.
It's like them saying that immigrants don't have due process. They're sticklers for the Constitution. It also doesn't say in the Constitution that everybody gets as many guns as they want. It doesn't say that in Second Amendment. But they're saying that if you're not an American citizen or apparently a homeless person who is an American citizen, you don't have due process. Sorry, that's not what the fucking Constitution says. And somebody on the Republican side needs to step up and go, motherfucker.
But they don't care because they see homeless people as less than human. They say that, well, if you're that far, that's your fault. Maybe, but some people have mental health issues. Remember, you cut all the mental support for mental health anyway.
Yeah.
Some people can't just bad luck, but you're going to penalize them. And basically, they're going to pick them up. Where are they going to send them? Let me think. Oh, yeah, those concentration camps they've been building. They're building a new one in Indiana. That's going to be work shall set you free. That's what they're going to do.
Let me ask you a
And
question.
that's
You talked about ICE going into Chicago or New York or something like that. I've been hearing stories. You don't see them in the media much. That a number of ICE agents have been getting their ass kicked, getting
yeah,
beat to shit out of. You don't hear about that. What's it going to be like in Washington D.C. with a large level of black citizens when they send these federal people into there? I can't imagine there's not going to be people just freaking the fuck out and maybe pushing back.
yeah. I mean, in Los Angeles, see, they're hiding it. In Los Angeles, there's still protests going on every day.
Yeah.
And they had a 24-hour music festival in addition to protests. And ICE and LAPD, by the way, message to Karen Bass, control your fucking police department. They're not supposed to work with ICE. You're a sanctuary city.
Yeah.
And there is fucking scenes of people just in this festival at night where they're pointing weapons at them and they're just standing there. But you don't
Yeah.
see anything on the videos over the press because in TikTok, they're suppressing those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You can't see it. They used to. You don't see it. The protests are going on. But to answer your question, if they go into DC with National Guard and do what I think they want to do, i.e., think of a scene of Hunger Games when they start trying to clean the place out viciously, there's going to be problems. And part of me is saying, do it because at that point, you're going to attract attention,
Yeah.
finally, to see what's going on. Because it's real easy still to dismiss what ICE is doing. My
I don't know
wife said,
how, but you're right.
they do. People say, well, it's just them, not us. It's still that thinking. It's still that thinking. And I mean, on top of that, there's a CBS report that they have fired 600 immigration judges.
Really?
Judges who came up and they had an interview with them. And the judges said, yeah, why were you fired? Because I wouldn't dismiss cases without without hearing what's going on.
Right.
And they fired him because what they're doing is that they're going to court dismiss it so we can arrest them. So if they're doing the right thing, all you motherfuckers keep saying, well, that'd be fine to do the right thing. Yeah, but you're arresting them anyway, and you're rigging the system against them. Trump saying it'll take 200 years. No, brother. The reason is that you fucked the system up. And I'm going to go way back. When they had the border bill that Trump was successful in killing, in that bill, not only was there more money for the border patrol, there was money for immigration processing that would have streamlined everything. But
Right.
here we are, because chaos to these fuckers is a ladder. And it's getting worse. I've seen the videos. There's videos of people getting arrested, children begging them not to take them, and cops either saying "fuck you," or one guy, one video that makes me sick. I have to do is my job. Yeah, motherfucker, I've heard that too.
Yeah.
Just doing my job. I will warn you guys now, ICE. You don't know what's coming. Once we get done with this, the reckoning is going to be ridiculous. It's not going to be a trial, it's going to be a reckoning. Because we know and we will remember. Because you stealing from a restaurant because you could, because no one's stopping you right now, tells you who they have hired and what they encourage them to do. And it's more than Kristi Noem shooting dogs like it did
It's
in
not
South Park.
surprising when you decide you're going to hire anybody, no matter how old they are, fat or skinny or whatever, maybe even convicted felons. They're hiring anybody that will sign on. And when you do that, when you're not selective about the kind of people that are in law enforcement, you're going to get some criminals in there. And that's clearly what we have with ICE, a lot of criminals.
That has been Dean Cain being a nice agent. Fucking
I
dude.
hope he gets his ass kicked. I
I
hope
mean, but
Superman
he's
gets his
he's
ass
he's
kicked.
just a recruiter. And I made a video on it. There's an old SNL skit from the way back when called Uberman. Uber means super in German. If
Yeah.
the basically is, what if Superman landed in Nazi Germany instead of the Midwest?
Right.
And it's ridiculous and it's funny, but it's kind of like what he's doing, because it was basically it was ridiculous. But that's where we're at with ICE, and they still look stupid. The Penske truck, please. So, but the problem is that no one's stopping them. They're ignoring court orders, and like you said, it may come down to serious violence in order to bring it up,
I
because
think
I
it's
think people are,
inevitable.
it's
I think the
inevitable. They
violence
want
is
it,
inevitable.
but they want it because they think they're going to get the upper hand. They're not going to get the upper hand. It's going to get ugly, really ugly. And if they show up in D.C. in force, I want to see how that goes. Really do. Let's see how this
Well, they
goes.
have there are gangs in DC, and it could be the thing about it is they talk about the crime in DC, and all the facts I've seen and all the data I've seen says crime has gone down in DC.
Yep.
Crime has gone down. So now they're going to go. See, this is what Donald Trump does. Everything he does has nothing to do with facts or substance. It's all performative to give the impression I'm a tough guy or I'm doing something. And you can't keep doing that without fucking up. And he will fuck up and it will blow up in his face. And
Yeah,
I think
it's going to get
DC,
ugly. And
you're not
this is
you're not
incompetency.
you're
Yeah,
not going to see people in DC just sitting on their thumbs. They're just not going to
no,
happen.
it's, I mean, they're already there. I mean, Aaron Ponders is in D.C. Part of it, he's getting a little fear mongering. Dude, I'm not worried about D.C. I'm not worried about it. I mean, your area you might worry about, but not where they want to go. I
Yeah.
mean, again, I haven't seen ICE in Compton or Inglewood or really in East LA, because, like you said, they get pushed out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they haven't really, all the threats about Chicago. And like even in Pittsburgh or in, there's another, there's a huge supermarket chain from Mexico called Gigante. Started in Los Angeles, everywhere. It specializes in Hispanic foods. These markets are great because they have fresh food, all that. It's all Hispanic. They raided one in Norristown, Pennsylvania. They
Really.
went into Norristown looking for criminals, right? And they harassed every customer in there, arrested 14 people suspected of illegals, but they went in there and harassed people just shopping in a Mexican supermarket.
Right.
That tells you everything what we're dealing with. This has nothing to do with crime. This has nothing but to do with immigration. This is Stephen Miller plan to make America white again. And Trump likes it because he loves suffering.
Well, he
That
thinks it
makes him
benefits
feel
him
big.
somehow. If being woke was advantageous to him, he'd be that. Donald Trump is not a good person. He doesn't care about anything particularly as long as it makes him look good. That's why he's doing all these things. He's desperate to find a way to prove that he's the greatest president ever. But every time he
Oh,
does it, he fucks up. He's got plans this week to do certain things, like this thing in Washington, D.C. He has no clue in his mind that this is going to blow up in his face and look bad. He honestly believes this is a good move, probably because some dumb fuck like Stephen Miller told him it'll make him look good. But Steve Miller has had a kind of a history of making some fucked up decisions.
yeah.
Why you
I mean,
trust him still, I don't know.
yeah, when the reckoning comes, dude, you're not going to like it. And speaking of that, yeah, so the tariffs came in. What was it, the 8th? The
Yeah,
tariffs. Okay.
seventh,
So,
I think.
yeah, so Trump has been rocked by what happened with the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I mean, math don't lie. Your job market is shit. It's falling. Prices are up as per the statistics that came out. And his reaction is, I'm just going to fire the person who presented it to me. And I'm going to turn to the Heritage Foundation. So he had some whacked out Wednesday call, all of a sudden call the press in for a news conference because his buddy, Stephen Moore, who is a so-called economist with the Heritage Foundation, wrote a book called Trumponomics. I just leave that where he's in. Came up and said he had called Trump and said, "Hey, I'm going to fix this for you. And using data that no one has access to, came up with all of these pretty charts showing that Trump's economy is working, that people have more money in their pocket, people are getting jobs. When called on his statistics, he says, I have raw data that no one else has. You know what I call that when someone says that? A fucking lie.
Made
Yeah,
up shit.
honey, I the car broke down. That's why I'm late. Really? I thought you were at the bar. No, honey, you had access to data you did not. No one else had. No one had. That's a fucking lie. But Trump was there. You saw it. Someone in the
Yeah.
comments, and I don't know who it was. And if you see this, I apologize, but I warned you I was going to steal it. On one of the videos where Trump is getting one of those big charts, holds it up, and it says, "Say, look, he doesn't
This is
explain
the
what the
best
fuck
one.
it is." Yeah,
Yeah.
that no, he just explains it. He was looking through all these pretty pictures. I mean, and he goes, "Look," and the guy just put in Sharpie economy,
Yeah.
and he's right. If you remember the Sharpie with the hurricane, that's what it is. It's a creation of his fantasy.
Well, see, the
He's a
thing
fantasy.
is, he thought he was fixing this. This is Donald Trump's mindset. This comes out, it's real data. He fires them. He looks stupid in the process of firing them. Then he comes out with this alleged data. He holds up a sign, doesn't tell you what it's about or how it figures into the situation. And the main reason he did that because he doesn't know. He has no clue what that thing. All he knows is it went up. But nobody believes that shit.
No, see,
He thinks he's fixing it and it's not working.
this is one of the rare instances. You know the saying that says, "A lie will get around the world before truth gets his pants on." Well,
Right.
guess what? The truth was already out there, disseminated, and already pushed through all the calculators before you came up with your lie. No one's buying the lie because they've seen the
Nobody.
real numbers. No
Not
one.
even the right.
Yeah, because there's no, because even in their, except for the cultist, which Stephen Moore is, that's what the Heritage Foundation, they need him to get their Christian fascist or country. No one's buying this shit, and it gets worse because with the tariffs, and there was a gentleman named Devin Winchester, who is a co-editor of something called the Journal of Global Economics. They do evaluations of how economics work globally. Because remember, everything's interconnected. The problem with economics right now, what Trump is telling everyone, is that we can stand on our own. We don't need the world. Sorry, dude. We are all interconnected, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
They talk about, well, we'll just do oil here. No, oil is part of a global market. They don't get it, but they sold you this bullshit because the majority of us really don't know much about economics and
No.
how it works. Um, I know it, and I just took basic, but I've always been interested in this shit because it's history. That's how history is driven by money and economics. It leads to wars. It leads to depression. It leads to changes in society. I mean, if people don't have food, it changes society. The Mayans had a great empire. Then they ran out of water. They vanished. They collapsed because they didn't have a resource. It's
Right.
all economics. It's all part of history. I mean, Denise was right. I mean, it's all historical, but also the math doesn't fucking lie. And
Right.
what he was saying is they did an analysis of all the country tariffs, okay, and how it was going to affect their GDP compared to ours. And we come out in the short stick.
Of course we do.
He
Yeah.
with their analysis is that in the end, remember Trump, in the end, it's going to cost our country in a GDP $100 billion, $100 billion. And Trump was saying, and they were saying that the American household has more money now. No, according to their analysis, it's going to cost each of us $861 per household on an average. We're going to lose money because we have to spend more money. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the shortages that are going to come with it. First, let's talk about the most important shortage that's going to happen: coffee.
Yep.
I'm waiting for that bitch because
That's
when
gonna piss
coffee
some
goes through
people
the
off.
roof, Oh, people are going to be pissed and angry. I will never forget when Trump, with the transition team, with all his sycophants showed up in the Department of Agriculture, and they were talking about how they're going to do tariffs on everything, like rice. And one of the people who probably got fired said, they're going to do this so we can produce everything in the country. And she goes, and one of the people told the sycophant, yeah, but we don't produce rice that much in the United States.
Yeah,
And his statement was, to the person, you just do without them if it's not American.
exactly.
I mean, they're fucking insane. And this is going to be a shortage of rice. The supply chain is going to break. Already, companies are laying off people because they can't get supplies. Saw what happened with GM, saw what happened with Ford, killed their profits. And the worst thing about it, they're talking about shortages of things comparable to COVID. He just broke the fucking supply chain without a disease this time.
Ask you this: people may have forgotten about this, but when the tariffs were first announced, there was a period of 2 to 3 weeks where there were no ships coming in. Now there's
Mm-hmm.
enough in the storerooms to keep it going up until now, but that short period of time, a bubble, that's going to come to pass here. There's going to be
Yes.
another period where we pay for that time that nothing was coming in. It's not here yet, but it will come to pass.
And they're still selling. I mean, when the tariffs went into effect, Trump said tariffs are here, billions of dollars are flowing into the United States. No, they don't give, again, lessons, people. Tariffs are not paid by the countries you trade with. We are getting goods from them. We put something on tariff on it, an extra tax that the importer pays to get the goods and then passing it on to us. The only one paying those tariffs are us. It's not going into the treasury.
So
It's,
hundreds of billions of dollars are coming into the government, but not from outside the country. It's coming directly from us. I heard Scott Besson talking, and he knows what the fucking deal is. And he says, "Well, some countries will
no,
the money, and some middlemen will eat the tariffs, but some people will end up paying for it." That's absolute bullshit. Nobody's eating the money but us.
and,
Nobody in
ter- and,
business is dumb enough to do that.
and countries aren't going to eat the tariffs because it's not on the country, it's on the good. You
Right.
see, the insanity, this insane idea, it's just that it doesn't work like that. And there's no money, even in the middleman's not eating that. He's got to make a living.
Can't.
And also, and then he passes on to the money comes, and once we buy the good, there's just taxes,
That's exactly
taxes.
what they are.
That's it. But there's not what he's talking about. He is thinking with the way it is. He read trade deficit. He has no fucking idea what he's reading. He has no
You
idea
know,
what's going on.
the idea that the middleman or the retail would eat the tariffs. Let's say it's from Brazil and it's 50%, but their markup is only 30%. Not only do they eat the tariffs, but their profit is gone now too. You
Yes.
think, how long are they going to sell shit when they're not making a profit? And they're losing money. It makes no goddamn sense business
Yeah.
wise. And Donald Trump, claiming to be a big businessman, should know that. I mean, what if we put a tariff on every hotel room that Donald Trump uh, rents? Is he going to eat that tariff? No, he's going to pass it along because he's a greedy motherfucker. It makes no sense. It's just stupid.
Yeah. And think about it. Just a quick note on the hotels. Every city has a hotel tax. When you stay
Right.
in a city, you pay that, and that goes straight to the city. That's how that works. Okay.
Right.
Unless you're going to put taxes on each fucking good coming in, that's the only way the federal government gets money, or the areas. That's the way it works. And people pay the hotel tax because that's part of the vacation thing. You can accept that. You get it as long as the
Right.
city keeps up what they're doing. Sidebar. But the point is, tariffs don't work like that. They've never worked like that. And there are more tariffs than were at the time of the Great Depression, before the Depression, that Hoover bought into, that collapsed the economy. One of the reasons it collapsed the economy. And it's just, and now you see layoffs are coming. Ford and GM, as you had said, on the tariffs. I
Yeah.
don't know if they ate the tariffs. Great. Now they're fucked because they have no profit. That means layoffs. That means projections are going to go down because people aren't going to buy much stuff. Christmas is coming up. Toys are going to be in short supply. Hello, it's going to steamroll, and Trump will sit there in his new version of the Mar-a-Lago White House, gold surrounding him, thinking everything's okay because I have my pretty charts. See,
Yeah.
I drew on it. See, arrow up. See, everything's okay. And
See,
you can't get around this. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
the problem Donald Trump has is he thinks he can gaslight people and say, no, gas is $1.99 a gallon. No, groceries are down. Inflation is non-existent. He can say that, but when everybody is experiencing something opposite, it can do nothing but um, wreck his credibility, which
Yeah,
we
but
already knew he lacks credibility, but even the Trumplefucks will be experiencing that.
no, I think Denise was right when she said yesterday, a good amount of MAGA would be naked in dirt, lose everything, and still say he's right.
Yeah,
There's a good percentage of them that will do
I
that.
think you, I think you're right.
And then also the rich just don't give a shit because they're always going to be rich.
Right.
I mean, they'll take some hits. They got their tax cuts. It's just they went in there and stripped the economy down, and still, as it gets bad, they still blame Joe Biden. I mean, it's just insane because they asked. I keep forgetting the Bopsy twins of Commerce and Terrace, Treasury. What are their names again? Because I just interchange them. They both look the same. Old white
Lutkin
guys.
and Besant,
Yeah.
Lutnick and
Okay. Yeah. It
Besant.
would be Lutkin. It was no. Yeah.
He's a
Was it
shorter
Lutkin?
guy.
No, it was Bissett. It was a taller guy. No, it was Lutkin because he was short and he looks stumpy. Okay, got it. They asked him. Yes, we're 6 months into the Trump administration, and the economy is having issues. Do you call this the Trump economy? Answer: we're still trying to recover from the Biden economy. So anything bad has happened, we're still trying to fix the Biden economy. That's their story, and they're fucking sticking to it. I
Nobody's
mean, it's
buying it
sad.
because when people start hurting, they're going to have to blame somebody. Biden is long gone. The idea that Biden caused all this is just not going to sell. First of all, you told us you'd fix all this on day one. So why is it taking 7 months to fix the problems of the Biden? You lied, or you didn't know, or you're incompetent. They're going to keep these guys. Donald Trump especially reminds me of the guy when I was young and going to 3-2 bars. Was the guy, the older guy, sitting at the table, hammered out of his mind, talking about all the shit in politics and what he would do and crazy, stupid shit because he didn't know
Right.
any better. That's who Donald Trump is.
But the people who talk about that crazy, stupid shit are fucking in charge and doing the crazy, stupid shit that we're all sitting
Yeah.
there going, that would got you run out of politics half the time. But they do it. I mean, let's Medicaid and Medicare. Medicaid, again, it's not being told by the media, but already since October's coming up, nursing homes are warning people better find your old granny and grandpa a new place to live, or mom and dad,
Right.
because their Medicaid, we're cutting our contract with Medicaid. We're going it's all cash now, homie, straight cash, because we don't want to deal with Medicaid. And now they're sitting around going, but why are they doing that? I don't understand. You fucking knew it was coming,
That's going to
idiots.
hurt the nursing homes too, because if they're going straight cash, most people can't afford that. So they're just going to sit there with empty rooms.
Yeah,
Good
well,
luck with that.
a lot of them are like corporate run.
Yeah.
What'll happen? You'll have a lot of the small ones just quit.
Yeah.
What's one of them? And they just can't. Because the contracts start in October. That's the way it works, people. Financial calendars do not run normal calendar months. They run during in fall. So good luck with that. But they're seeing that already, and the town halls are reflecting that. And you
Yeah.
can see, and the arrogance of these Republican congressmen is ridiculous. because they keep saying, and one guy's notorious, do you want people getting free health care? And everyone's saying they're not getting free health care. We pay our taxes. And someone yelled at him, you're getting free health care. It's a fucking congressman.
Well,
You
he
see,
flat out
that's,
said, Mike, I don't know if it was Mike Flood or one of the other ones who said,
they all
you
look
don't
alike.
deserve, huh?
They all look alike.
They all look alike. He says, you don't deserve free health care. That was a stupid comment. That was an ignorant comment in these times. It's one thing to say it as a Republican 3 years ago when they were trying to sell that point. But now with people losing their health care, they're looking at this decidedly different. They're going, wait, what the fuck?
Again, you got used to stuff and they sold you that you didn't need it, but you need it.
Yeah,
And you find it out. And that's your, see, the thing that these people keep forgetting is that's your money. They took your money and gave
right.
it to someone up there on the upper end of the caste. They took your money and gave it to someone else and said the people down here can die for all we care.
Yeah,
Let
pretty
them die.
much.
I mean, and you guys cheered it. You guys voted for it. Now when they show up, you're pissy about it. You know what? Do you know where all that money went? To the ICE agents,
Right.
to ICE and law enforcement and Christy Noem's Botox. That's where it went to. Okay? Oh God,
Yeah.
that South Park just makes I look for it now. It's so hilarious. That was the
Well, did you hear
best
what
thing.
Christy Nome said? Christy Nome says, I can't believe they're making fun of a woman's look. That is so, that is so mean. Fuck you. You are mistreating women
They,
everywhere you turn. And Marjorie Taylor Greene says, you know what? I'm angry now because it seems like the Republicans don't support women. Oh, no shit. You
no
just
shit.
learned that now?
I don't know what crawled in her, and she's sitting looking around, going, "Oh, this is kind of fucked up." You think maybe because your district is about to get fucked from all
Yeah.
these cuts, and you realizing it, and maybe your constituents are going, "Yeah, we might like to look another way." And that's the thing. I'm gonna. I have a. I had an agenda, but I want to touch real quick because of the redistricting, and the Texas thing, because I think we need
Right.
to touch on that because this is in the same vein.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Democrats are coming back. I'm starting to see articles from CNN. What do Democrats do now? They do nothing but sit there until the
Pretty much.
Republicans give up. They don't have to do a fucking thing. It has nothing to do with Democrats. This is on the Republicans. They started it.
But don't you
They
think,
wanted.
don't you think, instead of waiting, don't you think Gavin Newsom and Pritzker and Hochul should just say, fuck you. I don't care if you do it or not. We're doing it to you. Be
I
aggressive,
don't.
be assertive about this.
I think that would, because they have a high moral ground right now. If we do that, they have a high moral ground with the threat because they're doing that. And the people can't say, "Well, you're just as bad." I go, "Yeah," because they did it. But if we do it, then they'll say, "See, you're no better. You're worse than us."
Here's the
I can
thing.
see that point.
We've had we had the higher moral ground for nine,
Mm-hmm.
10 years. Hasn't done fuck all. I've said before, and I'll say it again. If you're fighting somebody who's fighting dirty, you have to get down there and fight on their level. Otherwise, they're going to keep running over the top of you. And the
Right.
Republicans have done it over and over and over again since they started this shit.
I think.
We need to fight them because that's the only thing they understand is getting slapped in the
Right.
fucking snout.
But I think right now what they're discovering is that they didn't think Democrats would go mad on them. And I mean, you know the term because you're a Cold War baby like I am.
Yeah.
Mutual assured destruction.
Right.
That's what the Democrats threatened with Pritzker, Newsom, and Hochul, and the governor in Maryland. That's all. That's the thing. We don't have to press the button, but if you press the button, we'll press the button, and we're all going to go down. That's what's going to happen. And I think that mad strategy has them fucking frustrated because they know if they do it, they're not fucking around. This is
Yeah.
not an idle threat. They're going to
Well,
do it.
well, the one thing about the Democrats at this point, at least they are. threatening something and the mutual agreed destruction is there. In the past, the Democrats wouldn't do it. They go, oh, that's not fair. You shouldn't do it. And they do it anyway.
The
So if we know
greatest,
they're going to do it anyway, you got to do something, anything.
the greatest example still would be the Chuck Schumer in the budget, first budget, not the big budget bill, the
Right.
first budget. You could have stopped it because it was not. It was a what do they call continuation, but you
Right.
didn't want to do it because you said that would give Trump power. Guess what? He took power anyway.
Yeah.
You wanted to be nice, you dumb fuck, and this is what you pay for. That's why no one likes you. That's why no one likes Cory Booker because someone asked him about oh God, I just drew a blank. In help me, New York. Um, the
Oh,
guy running for
the
uh,
mayor,
running
Mondani.
Madani. Are you going to store? No, I don't want it. Yeah, because APAC's paying your money, dude. Go
Right.
fuck yourself. And also, by the way, quick note on that. After Cuomo got defeated quite big in the primary, do you know who he called for advice? Andrew Cuomo?
I do.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. So you
And
Democrats, you
so,
want to vote for Cuomo? You maybe want to
yeah, go
think
ahead.
twice.
You're voting for a fucking MAGA. He called Trump, I guess like calls to like, sexual
Yeah.
predator, sexual predator. What the fuck?
Crooks. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, but see, that's the thing about it is that they're already trying to, the media is trying to spin in what do Democrats do? They don't do anything. They sit there because you can't arrest them, can't send the FBI into them. Pritzker already said he's going to protect them. Hochul said they're going to protect them. And I don't think this is, unless you do a night raid and kidnap people, what good is it going to do? I mean, there's no law. There is no law.
But see,
There is no law.
this is how the Republicans do things. They make threats, and some people will cave, and then they win. If they don't cave on the first one, they'll make a bigger threat. And if they don't cave, then they'll make another threat.
Right?
This is all they know how to do. Everything they said they would do to these legislators, none of it makes sense. They haven't committed a crime, certainly not a federal crime. They can claim all the things they want. They're doing other stuff too, like saying, well, we can't take away their pay, but we can force them to have to come pick it up. These
Okay, yeah,
people are too
whatever.
deep, right? These people are too deep right now. They're not going to give up yet. They're not going to give up until there's some give on the other
They
side.
have to capitulate. Greg Abbott has no choice. He's going to capitulate. They're going to capitulate. There's nothing they can do. And it's the thing everyone keeps forgetting is that every time Trump signs an executive order, everyone says that's the law. No, it's not.
No,
Stop
it's
it.
not.
And the thing, one of the biggest examples, he keeps going after universities and saying he's going to fine them for anti-Semitic whatever. You guys know that in order to get fined, you have to violate a rule or law. There's no rule laws being violated. You haven't been taken to court and sued in a court of law and then fined by the agency that handles that. He is saying he's fining UCLA $1 billion for anti-Semitic activity. Gavin Newsom basically told him go fuck yourself. But he
Good.
keeps doing this, and the problem is instead of standing up to him like Harvard did, like the Big Ten did, you get Columbia that gave him money so they can leave him alone. As you know and I know, you give your bully your milk money, next day he takes your lunch money,
Right.
and then he takes your shoes. He takes it all because you capitulated him, because you showed weakness. And that's the thing. Trump always threatens all this, and when you give him what he wants, Paramount, ABC, you get this bullshit, and he keeps pushing harder. And that's the thing. But when you stand up to him and say "fuck you," you notice now when people are telling him to go fuck himself, he is in a fucking tizzy.
Yeah.
That's why he's just throwing shit everywhere. I mean, this, that, because people are fucking going, we don't buy your bullshit. And we aren't afraid of you. What are you going to do? What you going to do?
Well, that's the
Do it.
thing. Donald Trump tries to act tough, but he's the weakest motherfucker out there. He's just making threats. And if you give in to any kind of threat, like you say, it's just going to continue. It's like
And,
paying a blackmailer. You pay them off.
Exactly.
That just they're going to keep going, and this is what Donald Trump is. This is why Donald Trump is so tightly uh, tied to Epstein because they were both blackmailers. That's how they always made their
I
money.
mean, he's the extortionist in chief right now. Let's be
Right.
honest. And the thing about it too is like, and it all goes to the election because of the redistricting. Because yeah, this is an attempt to cheat for the midterms.
Right.
Okay, they're trying to get all this data. It's not going to make a difference with the data because what are you going to do with it? These are state elections to put people in federal offices. The federal government can't mess with that. Each state election has their own rules. You can't mess with that. He can't do anything, even with this data. And I
Right.
keep hearing all of these people going, he's going to use it to cheat. He's going to do this. No. Okay. There was one, I mean, Mark Elias, who's really getting on my goddamn nerves because he's always a naysayer, but not a solution man,
Yeah.
saying that the reason that Trump is coming up with this census is because what he wants to do is that if he does this census, which you can't do within 6 months, dude, it ain't going to happen. How's he going to pay for it?
Yeah.
Jesus. Um, is that then he can say, look, there were this many U.S. citizens and the real sense of this, so we're going to contest the election. How are you going to contest 50 fucking states elections?
Yeah.
Fucking tell me how you're going to do that. I'm waiting.
See, you have to understand whenever we see Donald Trump do anything, he doesn't think anything out. He just grabs
No,
at anything to cause noise or a mess or something like that. So the idea of taking another census, he's not going to take another
no.
census. It goes back to what I've said before. Donald Trump says a lot of things, but 99.9% of the time he fucks things up.
Yeah.
And people say, what about all the uh, uh, executive orders and all stuff? What you have to understand about those executive orders, you said they aren't law. They're absolutely not law. The moment a next president comes in, he can cancel every executive order that is done with the sweep of a pen.
And a good majority of them are unconstitutional anyway. But the
Right.
point is that I see these creators going, worst case scenario. Oh God, it's over. You keep doing that, people don't want to vote. Stop it. Unless you got a solution, shut the fuck up. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Stop it. I mean, and I'm not saying if you want to bring up yeah, this is what he said, this is possible, but how's he going to do it? And you should know better as so-called democracy watch that you can't do that in 50 fucking states.
No.
He doesn't have the manpower. You can't do it. And what are they going to do? Is not certify? Yeah, watch what happens. And that goes back to the biggest thing right now. Part of one of the biggest thing is that preacher that's talking about women are just vessels and they shouldn't vote. Pete Heskett set up that video that Pastor Whitney, we should repeal the 19th Amendment. And everyone's in panic mode. I told you they're going to take women's rights. You know what? Those people who say that, I want you to try. Because I'll tell you, look at, again, history. You think the civil rights movement was violent. What happened? That
Yeah.
wasn't violent. That was peaceful protesters that violence were done on them. Okay? Look at that's to the point. They went Gandhi. That's what the idea was Martin Luther King. The
Right.
civil rights.
Peaceful
A lot of people
protest.
got hurt.
The
But
only
the woman,
violence during the civil rights was
hmm,
against the people wanting the civil
exactly.
rights.
Yeah, not the people themselves. But the women's suffrage movement. Oh, women went there. There
Yeah.
was bombings. There was violence from women. They
Same with the
wanted that back.
Vietnam War. Same
Yeah,
with the Vietnam War. There was
and
attacks.
yeah, but I mean, in Britain, they were literally putting women in chains. It was that bad. Women wanted the votes that bad that they went terrorist on them. So you tell me, oh, great Project 2025 assholes, that you're going to put down half the population. I know that the women you hang out with are a little crazy and like to be slaves, but I know that my daughter would be a little bit upset. And I don't want my daughter upset because it won't be pretty. I mean, again, it's the same thing. I'm telling you guys, show them for the assholes they are. but do not fearmonger, because
No.
if they try it, it will not be pretty.
And the fear mongering is their whole strategy. Put it this way: you talk about women and taking the rights away from women, they'll be mad. So will people like you and me. I have a
Yeah,
wife, I have nieces, I have granddaughter, I have a daughter-in-law. You want to fuck with them? You're going to have a problem with me. I don't
yeah.
know what I can do, but somebody's going to suffer some pain because they're trying to fuck with my family.
And good luck trying to get rid of the 19th Amendment. How are you going to do it? With a stroke of a pen? I'm sorry. These are just a bunch of, basically, these are a bunch of Taliban wannabes, Christian
Yeah,
Taliban wannabes, who are getting some press. And Pete Hegseth is one of them. And it's just, I mean, it's sad because he's so incompetent with the DOD. They laugh at him in the Pentagon.
yeah,
The senior staffers in the Pentagon are literally still shoring everything up because they don't trust him. They laugh at him because they know he's incompetent. They've seen this.
yeah.
So what I'm saying is we're bringing all this up, but it's not because this is bad. No, you got to be aware, and this is how we're going to stop it by making you people aware and standing up for it, because they're doing it in L.A. It's just that the media keeps hiding it because
Yeah.
they don't want Daddy Trump to feel upset because they think they think they're going to get paid. Yeah, South Park Trey Parker got paid $1.2 billion, and what are they doing? They don't give a fuck. They're
No,
going
they don't.
hard, and that's the thing. They took the wrong economic model because, as one person said, the reason that a lot of these right wing influencers like Joe Rogan and all that are losing listeners and stuff is because they're on the other side now. They're not
Right.
the opposition. They're in the position of power. The opposition, you and I, Midas Touch, Eric Parnas, Lincoln Project, all that, they're now the opposition, and their people are listening to them because they can hear the bullshit and it's not working for them. They sold them a bill of goods. Now it's starting to turn on them. And the problem with the media, you've always, your market plan or your um, structure was opposition to whoever's in power, questioning power every day, be they right, left, or indifferent. You decided that the best way to make money is to grab on to the person in power, thinking it's going to bring you gold doubloons. You're getting shit on
Right.
because no one's watching you anymore. No one trusts you.
You know
We
where
know
I think
this.
I think where we had the problem with the Democrats is you say we're the opposition party now, and we are. But after Donald Trump won the election, you couldn't say the Democrats were opposition.
No,
They were. I swear to God, this is what I believe about the Democrats. They were so surprised and so angry about losing on November 5th that they said, "Fuck it, that's what they want. Let them have it. Let them suffer." That was probably the attitude, and they didn't do
that
jack shit.
and also because they couldn't see the forest for the trees, and they blamed everyone but what actually happened.
Yeah.
And the thing about it too, and also there was this spirit of bipartisanship. Fuck that. And they
Fuck
found
that.
out real quick what happens with that. They got rolled over to the point that even Chuck Schumer's understanding that. Now, if they
Yeah.
could get off their addiction to APAC and figure out what to do, with that, it'd be better. But that's another day. Um, but the incompetency continues. The CDC shooting. I'm assuming everyone heard what happened at Emory University here in my neck of the
Right.
woods.
Right.
Turned out to be a guy who was sick and bought into the bullshit that he was sick because the COVID-19 vaccine made him sick. So he was going to take it on the CDC. He tried to go to the CDC, got rebuffed. Then he went down the street to Emory, who has the CDC research lab, and tried to shoot his way in, killed a police officer, and then ended up being killed himself.
Right.
But that's what it was. And why? Because RFK Jr. keeps his fucking bullshit going. He cut funding for mRNA vaccines because he said there's not enough data say they're safe. Motherfucker, why do you think COVID died?
Yeah,
We stopped COVID
it
because
worked.
mRNA. I mean, he's insane. He said that the reason doctors keep people sick so they can get paid. The man is absolutely insane, and he's running our health system. He's destroyed our research, cancer, diseases, everything. COVID is rising again. There are reports of other diseases coming up. And this man is insane. And his only solution for like mental health is to send them to farms. This is what we're dealing with. This incompetency is going to catch up and is catching up. And one of them we're going to see on full fucking display is on Friday. Trump meets with Putin.
Right.
You know why Trump is meeting with Putin on Friday? Because of a fucking lie. His his envoy, what's his name? Stephen Switnick, I believe is.
Letnick, I think.
So
Let,
Switnick.
let me just
He,
check here. Letnick
yeah,
is the financial guy, but I don't
that's
know.
financial guy. This is a special envoy that Trump appointed to Putin to be his viceroy to deal with the Ukrainian war,
Let me see if I can find him.
negotiate with him.
Whoever he is, he's a clown because
Yeah,
he
he is a failed
doesn't.
real estate agent that was a friend with
Yeah,
Trump in Florida, and so he's been negotiating with Putin over this, and he told Trump that Putin agreed to a meeting so they can figure out a way to negotiate swapping lands for a ceasefire, not staying with the land, swapping territory that the Ukrainians took, that they took, and then backing away and then having a ceasefire.
right. His name
That's
is
not what
Witkoff.
Witkoff. There you go. That's not what Putin told him. Putin said, we will have a meeting if the United States agrees to our demand that we keep all the land that we seized when invading Ukraine, and then we'll talk about having a ceasefire. Then
Right.
we'll talk about ceasefire. But you have to agree to back us up. So it got out. That's what he agreed to. Trump called it translation problems. All the European leaders who called this guy and said, "Hey, what?" He finally admitted he lied because um, his boss wanted results. So he's still going through with the meeting because he's basically he's just going to say, "Yeah, we agree to that." Well, Zelensky didn't, and that's why he's not going to show up. The European leaders didn't show up. Some people are comparing this to Neville Chamberlain and meeting with Hitler over Czechoslovakia. And I always loved that newsreel film where he shows up with the written agreement from Hitler saying that he wasn't going to invade Czechoslovakia. And after he did it, there was one of the greatest news cartoons ever. A big old hole from Germany into Czechoslovakia. It's like a busted wall. And there's a sign across that go, I promise to be good, Adolf Hitler, which he did not. And that's what they're comparing to. The difference is Czechoslovakia that had no army and went to war with Germany. Ukraine has an army and support from Europe. So they can sit there and play footsie cake or whatever he's going to do with Putin. It's not going to change the fact that the next day Ukraine will still exist and Russia is still going to be on the ass end of a war because they haven't won it yet. They still won't win it.
No,
It's
I
a
mean, but
stalemate.
that's what Donald Trump does. He says one thing that's not untrue, not at all true, and then he tries to impose his will. The only problem is he's trying to do it with Vladimir Putin, who's as crazy as Donald Trump, but 100 times smarter. Donald Trump wants him to give in because he knows Zelensky won't, and he wants to get this thing shored up so he looks like a great peacemaker. But he's going to go talk to Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump's going to get frustrated because Putin is just going to dick with him. Zelensky's going to say, I don't agree with any of this
Oh,
shit
he's not even
and
going to
keep
be there.
fighting.
He's not going to
No.
be there.
And how do you have peace talks when one party's not there?
You don't. And it basically, this is Donald Trump's attempt to get the Nobel Peace Prize again. He has no
Yeah.
idea what that is. He just sees a shiny medal.
Well,
He's
he
like,
sees
again,
that Obama got it. That's
yeah,
what fucking with him.
but Obama got it for what he really did, negotiation. And here's the thing to all this. Where the fuck is Marco Rubio?
Yeah.
He's the Secretary of goddamn State. Isn't this
Yeah.
his bivouac?
It does seem like his lane, but he's nowhere to be found. He's
Yeah.
over there pouting in the corner every time you fucking see him.
I mean, is it worth it, Marco? You used to have pride. Is it worth it? Really, you're just nothing. You're nothing.
Yeah.
The biggest person in the Trump administration is Christy Nell. That's his girl. He
Yeah.
loves what she does for him. I mean, that's the thing. Marco Rubio was a politician, had um, wanted to be president, even as a conservative,
Yeah.
but he sold his soul for what?
He he did, and he's not going to have a career when this is
Oh
all
yeah.
over.
And so, which brings us to why is all of this fucking happening? Well, JD Vance kind of put it in perspective today with his interview with Fox when he said that all the Epstein thing that's going on are the Democrats' fault. That it was fun. You saw that? Oh my God, it was
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah, if they had released it, it would have been fine under the Biden administration. Dude, shut the fuck up. Yeah, we brought in Clinton, all that because I don't care. And they released the fines, but it's so sad. And the thing about it is, anyone who's seen that book, what is it, The Art of the Deal by Michael Wolff, which is Trump's so-called
I don't know
biography.
that he wrote. I don't think he wrote Art of the Deal, but Michael Wolff has done some biographies.
Yeah, biographies. So he's, ladies and gentlemen, please turn away if you're going to be disgusted because this is not good. But it tells you how deep and how lurid and how disgusting these people are. He did an interview with Midas Touch about the Epstein, Trump, and the Prince Andrew connection.
Right.
Okay, when Trump and Epstein, who for some reason coveted Princess Diana, they both wanted her.
Yeah.
I'm going to vomit, but they both wanted her. So they wanted to get close to her, knowing that the marriage was ending. Okay,
Right.
they were rivals. Ghislaine Maxwell had connections within high society in the royal family, including Prince Andrew.
Right.
And every time Diana showed up, Epstein or someone would sit next to Diana to pump their interest of her. Okay.
Right.
They saw this as a way to get entrenched and move up on the social ladder within England. And their main source of it was Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew, as we know, had a problem with little girls.
Yeah.
So they came up with Cassell Maxwell came out a way to supply his insatiable appetite, young girls, with a concept called everyone please. This is what's in the article I mean, called the Pussy Committee. They would supply this is straight up. He said it. This is to supply Andrew with young girls and cash because he's always short on cash because Queen Elizabeth didn't want to do anything with him.
Right. Right.
But this is how deep it was. They saw this as a golden ticket to get into the royal family, and one of them wanted to marry Diana. This is how insane the story is. But the idea that the royal family has a problem, this is about power, corruption, and the royal family's got issues
Yeah.
because Charles needs to address this because your daddy was a fucking pedophile being fed children by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell at the behest of Donald Trump. So this is why this is so disgusting, and they don't want him because this is stuff that's bubbling up. You
Right.
can't get around this with Epstein. Dude is knee deep in this shit. He is involved. He was a co-conspirator, a co-trafficker of women. And no one brings that up. They keep dancing around this. The Epstein files are going to be the cherry on top of this whole cake because we know what Donald Trump is. And just call
And
him what he is. He's a fucking pedophile.
no
And
matter
always
what
has
he
been.
tries to do, the Epstein files or information from the Epstein files are ultimately going to come out. If not by way of the files themselves, we know there's a bunch of leakers in the White House and in the government. They want to get away from this stuff. They may be appalled by it too. There's going to be information coming out. And I wouldn't be surprised if something comes out on so damning on Donald Trump, there's nothing he can do and just watch him freak the fuck out.
And I think that's the meeting you were talking about, that secret meeting with Denise yesterday, that
You know,
Vance was supposed to be a secret meeting. Trump wasn't supposed to be involved. It was supposed
right,
to be Vance, Murdoch, and someone else. It was basically end game after game. And
right.
it got leaked. And I think it got leaked because someone told Trump, and Trump said, "What the fuck?" Um, and they had a meeting, I guess, in a while. But the point is, they have to address what they're going to do. You cannot keep saying it's Biden's fault. You cannot bring in all of those names and say, "Hey, question about Epstein, whatever." You can't throw out there, "Yeah, well, Bill Clinton was there 39 times. Show me the proof."
Yeah.
And then we'll hang him out to dry. But show me the proof before you talk shit, JD. Because that's their move. They're trying to see if they can use the Democrats as a shield for Trump, or looking for an end game or exit game, because it's not going away.
Well,
It's not.
that's exactly my point. When I did a TikTok about this, and they started, and JD Vance said, "Oh, it's all the Democrats. It's all the Democrats." You're absolutely right. What the intention of that was, that I'm going to blame the Democrats, and then the Democrats will get scared and they'll back off of it. Problem is, the Democrats aren't the problem. It's the base. It's the
Right.
Trumplafucks. It's a dumb idea. It's not going to work. And when they try to sell that, people are going to say, well, why are you protecting the Democrats? Why haven't you released it? So they lose either way they go here.
It's like, and you you set them up, you set them to give them what they want, and then you ran away from it because when the Pam Bounty came and going, dude, this isn't good, because
No.
you're there, and there's another interview running around of a deposition from, and I haven't seen it on the media. I caught it as a little bit of a video someone else put out, showing Epstein asked about, is Donald Trump a friend of yours? He took the fifth.
But
He took the
previous to
fifth.
that, he said they were best friends for 10 years.
Yeah, he took the fifth in a
Yeah.
deposition. And the thing about it is, I mean, you can pardon Maxwell. You can move her to a lower security prison where she might have an accident. Not saying, but bad things happen when walking the fence.
And you
Things
walk
might
into
fall
a
on your
place
head.
where you're not really welcome because all the people in that aren't those kinds of criminals. They're blue or
No,
white collar criminals. So a lot of people are upset by bringing in this dirt bag into this white criminal
and
prison.
she was the one that came up with this pussy committee thing. She's the one that was the impetus to coming up with this. She was the ringleader that did this. Was the idea girl behind all this. This
No doubt.
person is a monster, and in order
She
to try to
is.
save his ass, and that's why we're seeing all this behavior. I mean, we're going to go after Letitia James. Okay, go ahead. Good luck with that. What are you going to go after her for? She followed the laws of New York. You were convicted in a state court. What are you looking for? There's nothing to find. There's nothing to find. It's not even a special prosecutor. It's a counselor, because the special prosecutor is independent.
Right.
And you don't want to do that because an independent will go, yeah, you're out of your mind.
And
They're
isn't
not going
this
to
a
find.
state issue?
Yeah,
Isn't
it's a
this a
state
state
issue.
issue, not a
It's a
federal
state.
issue?
That's not a federal. This is just wasting our money on that. They're going to do the Obama thing. You're wasting money on that. That's nothing. There's nothing there. I mean, you are looking for everyone to go over here. Meanwhile, crocodiles are at your feet. I mean, the whole
Yeah.
thing with they want a hearing. Democrats are calling for a hearing on this, and Republicans just keep stopping them. Yeah, they're subpoenaed a whole bunch of people. Will there be a hearing? We'll see. I mean,
Probably not.
James Comer is trying to save his reputation, but God, that hit from Kentucky is done.
Well, after all of it is just a fishing expedition. I mean, let's remember they investigated Barack Obama twice, found nothing. They spent 2 years investigating Joe Biden, found nothing. It's all about trying to come up
Yeah,
with little bits and pieces that they can explode to try to impugn the integrity or
the
credibility of
Russian
whoever they're going after. But
and
they always fail.
The Russian thing wasn't investigating Obama. They investigated did the Trump campaign have connection colluded with Russia? Now we do know his favorite buddy was convicted of that.
Yeah,
He was
Manafort.
convicted and pardoned, so it's already there. And Marco Rubio was the head of the Senate committee that said, yeah, there was no collusion by the Trump campaign, but there was interference in the 2016 election by the Russians.
And
That
they did
is a
it to and they did it to benefit Donald Trump. That was proven.
yeah, and that is a Senate committee that Rubio led. Maybe that's why we ain't seen Marco recently. Because he's
Yeah.
got to go in hiding. Because you can't sell this to anyone. Tulsi Gabbard came up with this bullshit at the absolutely disgust of CIA agents and CIA operatives going, look, if you show where we got our information about this, you're going to show the Russians how we do our work. She did it anyway because she's trying to save her fucking ass because of
Right.
the Iranian thing. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a bunch of people who don't care about the American people. They only care about themselves, and they're eating themselves alive at our
The problem
expense.
problem is Donald Trump and everybody around Donald Trump have one job: protect Donald Trump, make Donald Trump look good, which isn't necessarily good for our country or our government. But this is what they're doing, and they reek of panic and desperation at this point. That's why they're trying everything.
I mean, and then Pam Bondi is running around. It's just, and what's the FBI doing now? The FBI, they're sending agents to D.C. as we talked about. The FBI is not doing their job. They
Right.
fired senior FBI agents, directors who
Right.
won't capitulate. It's they're trying to turn the FBI into another version of the secret police. I don't know how far they're going to get, and it's getting to the point that if you're in an organized crime, if you're doing business or human trafficking, this is a heyday for you.
Yeah, you get
Drugs
away with it,
too. You can get away with everything because they're all doing everything else but their jobs.
especially if
I
you
mean,
support Donald Trump. You'll have free reign to do whatever you want.
and the sad thing about it is, and I did a video on this about that Utah state senator, the head of the state senate,
Yeah.
whose nephew was arrested for raping a 13-year-old. God, I love
Yeah.
hearing on YouTube. I don't have to dance around the words. With raping a 13-year-old, and he was looking at some serious time. He was able to get the law changed in Utah with the help of the Republican House and Senate, with the help of the Republican governor, a law that said that, yeah, you're 18, but you're not an adult if you're still in high school, so you can't be tried as an adult. So the
Right.
motherfucker who raped a 13-year-old, and he was he was arrested and going through the system. They were able to change the law for the sentencing,
Right.
so he was sentenced to nothing. This man was now loose, and one thing that's the biggest recidivism is that is rape, and he will do it again. He definitely will do it again because he got away with it because he knows he's got people watching out for him. Trust
Yeah.
me, he will be on a police blotter again for doing the same fucking thing. He may even commit murder. That is a fact. Can't change it. But I was watching the video, a person did it, and I said, this is the way Republicans do business. That's how they're doing business now. You
Right.
listen to them, you hear them. They're defending this. If it's lowering child brides or telling women can't vote or making women not really human, that's what they're doing. And then I get comments about all politicians do this. This is what everyone does it. I don't trust any politician. Okay, let me tell you the difference, y'all, between ethics and morality in this situation. Do all politicians cheated? Yes. Have they used their offices to enrich themselves? Yeah. Look at the senator from New Jersey.
Right.
But to me, that's ethics. That's
Right.
an ethics issue. Okay. You are gaming the system to benefit yourself. Okay. That's not right, but it's not a morality issue.
Yeah,
To
Menendez
me,
is in jail, by the way.
yeah, Menendez is in jail for that because he did wrong ethically. But he did not change the law so his nephew can get away with rape.
Right.
That's morality. Do not see, this is again, we're getting close to these people who said they're independents going to both sides do it. Fuck you. If you are an independent, you're MAGA. If you're saying I have to look at what both sides are saying, you're MAGA. You are lying to yourselves because you support what the Trump regime is doing. You just want to say it and you coach this in this independent bullshit. It makes you feel superior. Fuck you. It's
Well, to
about
say
morality now.
to say that all sides do it, that could be right, that could be wrong, but it doesn't change the fact that it's fucking illegal and it's
Yes.
morally uh, bankrupt.
Yeah.
So if Democrats are doing it, charge them, put them in jail, like we
Right.
did with Menendez. But the idea that it's okay if we do it because they do it too, that's bullshit. That's a
Yeah.
bullshit, childish answer.
And that's what I keep hearing. It's like, do you see what's going on? Because I don't see Democrats supporting what ICE is doing with no due process. And then they
Uh,
start picking up homeless people in D.C. next week without any hearings and any due process and ship them to what? Alligator Alcatraz or the nearest concentration camp for being homeless
yeah.
without any kind of due process? You tell me, independent, does that mean everyone does it? I mean, we're now at a tipping point, guys, where it's about right and literally wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, if you say you're MAGA, you support pedophilia. If you say you're MAGA, you don't support the Constitution. You support taking people's rights away. If you're a MAGA, you believe women are not human or subhuman and must be subjected to your rules. That's who you are. Look yourself
I
in
was
the face. That's what you believe in.
I was talking to my wife today about this, and I said, if we're still arguing Democrat versus Republican, you're not paying attention. This isn't about bipartisanship or Democrats versus Republicans. This is about right versus wrong,
Mhm.
truth versus lies, decency over indecency. There is no middle ground there. You're either lawful, truthful, and decent, or you're not. You can't
And also,
negotiate somewhere in the middle.
and the idea of empathy and looking out for your fellow man as a weakness is bullshit. That
Right.
makes you a weak person. That makes you just evil. It's ironic. And as I've said before, I've been listening to a lot of old time radio, and I've been listening to a lot of Gunsmoke old episodes, which are really interesting, old Western stuff. Also, like
Yeah.
William Conrad's voice was fantastic.
Yeah.
But there was an episode that caught me by surprise. And I knew it was 1954 that this episode aired because one of the commercials mentioned that it was 1954. And what happened is that Conrad, who plays Marshall Dillon, is going down the street and sees two men bullying or abusing a Chinese man.
Yeah.
And the Chinese guy is going through this is how this goes. He's doing that old, I don't speak English type of thing. He's being really like stereotypic. But
Yeah.
he's telling them, leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's not harming you, or I'm going to deal with you. And they go, what? So you're supporting this foreigner here? And he said this statement in 1954 on the radio. We're all foreigners here except the Indians.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, he said that and chased him off. And the funny thing about it, he ran into the same Chinese guy later who was working at the restaurant because he wanted to get him a job. And he spoke perfect English.
Yeah.
And he said, what happened to the bitch? He goes, I was just trying to placate him. I figure if I act like this, it'd be a little less, abusive. But see, I'm listening to that. I'm going, you know what they would call that now? Woke.
Yeah. They
And,
would.
and that was 1954. I'm not saying that year was great or that all race relations were right, but whoever wrote that script dropped that in there and got away with it. And I was
And this
like
is
amazed.
pre-civil rights. This is pre-civil
Pre-civil
rights.
rights. And the thing about it, and I heard that, I'm going, and as I listened to a lot of the episodes, it's about fairness. It's about stopping bullying. About the character is sympathetic to what happened to the Indians. Whoever wrote these stories knew what was going on with the reservation and why. I mean, there are episodes where they say, yeah, why are they going, well, if you were displaced from your land, wouldn't you feel the same way? They say this in the show in the
Well,
50s.
and I think a lot of that has to do with what you said before about morals. Morals were pretty specific. The Bible was pretty specific. Now we got all these gray areas because people pervert and distort what they allege to read in the Bible. All those years ago, racism was rampant in 1950 and 60s, but some people had morals. Now the world's full of people that don't have morals, and they just try to make the rules to best benefit them.
And I think that's the thing, because they look at it as a weakness. That's the thing when you hear these Republicans talk about food, free lunches or to support your fellow man. They look at it as, yeah, well, they don't deserve it. Why don't they deserve it? And the answer is normally because they don't look like me.
Right.
That's it. Or they're poor when they need some help. Well, that's their problem. Because you don't take people in individual, you take them all in lump. And this goes back to the years of the Reagan administration, where the war on the LBJ program started, because the welfare mom and all those um, stereotypes came from that era in the 80s. When people talk like that, that came from the 80s.
Yeah.
That's what the beginning of taking apart the government came from. Now they finally got what they wanted. They took the government apart. And you're seeing that, kind of need it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
do. Because that they're there to support us. And libertarianism doesn't work. Anarchy sure as hell doesn't work. And one man making decisions for your life that Trump seems to be wanting to do for everyone doesn't work either. I am amazed of the people I see sometimes on TikTok just capitulating or saying things that, liberals don't. This ain't a liberal, this ain't a conservative thing anymore.
No.
I'm not a fucking liberal. I'm not. I've never been. What I am is someone who's empathetic and understand that some people need help, because I've been at the bottom of that barrel, paid my taxes, and got up out of that barrel.
Right.
And in people are, and the thing about it is, the worst people are the ones who are still in the barrel, but want to blame everyone else for their own problem.
Well, and the thing about it is that conservatives claim to be fiscally responsible. So adding 7 trillion to the debt the first time and now 3 to 5 this time, not to mention spending money on fucking gold and ballrooms and stuff like this.
Oh
You can
God, why?
talk about the conservative sense of Republicans, but it's just not true. So how do you argue between Democrats and Republicans if everything what you know about the Republicans is not true? That's like what I was saying and what you're saying. It's about right and wrong,
Right.
decent and indecent. That's the difference. Now, whatever side you want to be on is cool, but you better be able to live with that shit as time goes on.
And when did government become a fucking reality show? I mean, you could see it. The ballroom thing is a reality show thing. Why do we
It's
don't need one?
ridiculous.
We've never needed one. Um, the the White House, the Oval Office becoming this weird ass. I mean, the gold on the walls and everything. Do you know that Trump removed the portraits of, I believe it was not
I think it was
Clinton,
Obama and Biden.
Biden, and put him in some stairwell?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like he doesn't. There's narcissism, and then there's Donald Trump.
Well, it's completely petty. It's silly. It's
But
petty, and it shows how weak and immoral he is. But then you've got the rose garden that Jackie O put in, and they turned it into a fucking cement patio. That's disrespectful as hell.
but
And
but
to be disrespectful to Jackie O and JFK, that's a bridge too fucking far.
but I think part of it is too. Trump hates nice things. He doesn't like things that are vibrant or alive.
Yeah.
I think it's antithetical to him. Roses or the rose garden, and I've been in a rose garden. Los Angeles around the Coliseum, I don't know if it's still there, has a huge rose garden, like a maze. When
Yeah.
it's blooming, it's almost intoxicating with the smell and everything. It's just unbelievable. I
Yeah.
think that bothers him. I think the idea of something living and thriving without him involved in it disturbs him. So the
Oh,
rose
yeah.
garden bugged him. Not just the Kennedy thing. I don't think he gives a fuck about Kennedy. I think it's just that this would be nicer if it was just concrete that I created and I could stand on and say, yeah, I made this.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I think
dead and I like
I
it.
think he, I think he gets upset about anybody that's successful with anything. He either tries to get in there and get a piece of it, or he tries to destroy it. That's what Donald Trump does. It's all about self-aggrandizing himself, Donald Trump. Uh, everything he says, everything he does is trying to make him look good, smart, or powerful. And that's the fatal flaw, because when you do that, everything around you will fall apart. And that's exactly what we're seeing now.
And again, we talk about all these things because we have to. Lord knows we
Yeah.
have to. We have to put them down because the media isn't going to help us. They don't. They're
Yeah.
they're lost in their own little game. And what solution is it? The solution is not to fucking give up and expect everything to end badly. Could it end badly? Fuck yes. I mean, let's be honest, it could.
It could,
But
but
we're
ultimately, we always find our way out of it.
yeah. But also, you're dealing with the fucking Keystone Cops right
Yeah.
now. I mean, they will do something to fuck it up. In even Republican Congress, the reason they're running around with their heads cutting off by the redistricting, because even if all you naysayers say they're going to fuck us, they're still going to get fucked.
Yeah.
They're going to lose the midterms big time because you cannot hide what you did. You can't. People know it, and they're now realizing it that we made a
Especially
mistake.
when they're already suffering. You can tell them that everything's great, but I mean, put it this way: Biden was saying the economy's great and all this stuff, and that didn't work for him because there were people in millennials still not making enough money to survive. That didn't show up in the economic numbers, but they weren't buying it. Do you think they're going to buy it now when everything is worse for them? No way.
And then when you go, who told him that if I go, yeah, these are the real numbers, everyone's going to believe him? I want to know
He
who told him that.
He don't. I don't think anybody told him that. He thinks he can talk his way out of anything and fool anybody because he's the smartest guy in the room. Only problem is he's the dumbest guy in the room. So he's going to keep trying to
And,
do this, and people are going to laugh at him,
and the
and
other thing
nobody's
we
going to
have to,
believe him.
I want to address something, one last thing, as we, that I know it's getting late this time, but we have to talk about Gaza for a moment. Okay.
Yeah.
I see the reports. I see that they keep trying to repress what they did, what the Israeli government did. And everyone, and today, everyone's telling Netanyahu, don't do what you want to do. And he has decided he's going to annex Gaza City.
Right.
He's going to go in there and take it. And people say, don't do that. He goes, I'm not doing this to harm the Palestinian people. I want to get rid of Hamas. You lying sack of shit.
You killed 60,000 fucking Palestinians. Don't tell me you were worried about farming them. They just killed an Al Jazeera reporter
I
today.
saw that. I saw that. And all of these things are coming out, but they keep getting repressed. And we're
Yeah.
dealing with the reason that he wants to fine UCLA $1 billion because there were Palestinian protests on campus. Like the university has control over that. But you know what? I've come to the conclusion at this point, we got to do what we have to do to end that
Yeah.
because it's no longer about what Hamas did in that October day. I think that's been avenged already, to be honest. What
Well,
it
they
is,
killed 1,200 people in that attack, and granted, it was horrible, and granted, it deserves some kind of retaliation. But as I said, Hamas is, I don't know what they got out of Hamas, but at least 50 to 60,000 innocent Palestinians are dead. How much more you got to fucking do?
and the thing about it, they still have hostages. The family of the hostages are still pissed because
Yeah.
Netanyahu is ignoring them. And it's obvious now to those of you who did not vote for Harris because you thought it'd be worse, that you were wrong.
Yeah.
Admit it. I was hoping that Harris, the president, would make this go not go away, but tamp it down where it can be solved.
Yeah.
Now the only way to solve it is to get rid of Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu is the worst thing that's happened to the Middle East. Period. He is literally bent on genocide.
Well, and he doesn't
Literally.
want the war to end, otherwise he's in jail. So
He
there's
goes
no
to jail.
motivation for him to stop
And
war and have
and
peace.
and he wants and he's not protecting Israel. And this goes back to the problem we have with the recognition of this is the amount of money coming out of APAC that
Yeah.
keeps Chuck Schumer tied up, that keeps Cory Booker tied up, that keeps a good amount of Congress tied up for not recognizing that this is not about anti-Semitism. No, this is about stopping a man who is committing war crimes. Bottom
Well, and
line,
thing about it is the question everybody has is we're sending them like 300 billion a year for nothing, and they're offering their people free health care and free college and stuff like
that's
that.
the thing.
We're sending them 300 billion a year for nothing. The question is why, and the answer is easy, because APAC keeps filling the pockets of Democrat and Republican members of Congress, and they keep voting for it. we
And,
we we as a people should say, if you take money from APAC or any other big pack, we're not voting for you anymore. We're not voting for you anymore.
and
They
it's
won't
so
stop. We've got to stop them.
and it's gotten to the point of ridiculous again with the New York election with Mondani that they're so involved in it, thinking that that affects the Palestinian issue. It does not.
Yeah.
What
No.
you are is basically xenophobic and racist because
Yeah.
you see a man of Middle Eastern descent speaking to New Yorkers and they're relating to him, and the only people who are upset about it are the upper echelon whites who want to keep their beak in the water. He's not
Right.
asking for much for New Yorkers. Your taxes, you're still going to make fucking money over money. But people like Andrew Cuomo, who's corrupt, the former the
Eric
mayor, the
Adams.
former mayor,
Eric
he's
Adams.
corrupt, and they're selling themselves as a solution. Bitch, please. And that's the
Yeah.
thing about it. I don't like addressing that because I thought it's at once it was complicated. The Middle East has been complicated for centuries, literally. But right now, it's a simple thing of stop killing these people. It's not helping you. Shooting people getting food is not helping you. Yes, that happened. It did.
That
And
happens
starving
every
them
day.
is not helping. And
And I'll be
having
honest
Donald
with you.
Trump saying,
If
I'm sorry,
anybody out there says, if you're talking crap about Israel, you're anti-Semitic. First of all,
oh,
I'm not. Second of all, if you want to say that, fuck you. Come on the show. We'll talk about it.
yeah, we'll talk because I don't care. This is not about the Jewish faith. It's about the Israeli government,
Right.
which is separate, should be separate from the Jewish faith. And
It's the
if
same
you
thing in this country.
right,
American people aren't bad. Our fucking government is.
yeah. And the point is, yes, there are people doing this. And if there's a reckoning in Israel, it's not going to be pretty.
No.
No, it's not. And that's the thing. We're watching a modern genocide. We're watching what the Turks did to the Armenians. And everyone's kind of trying to coach it at, well, you can't say anything, but you sound. And it's no, it is time because you know what? I see this here
Yeah.
with people of my color. Do you not see that's the same motherfucking thing?
It
And
is.
if he starts picking up homeless people, it's the same fucking thing. You know, my wife told me today there were people walking around our neighborhoods saying their census, asking who's in the house. And my wife found it from a neighbor and they think it's ICE.
Yeah, probably.
And it's like, I can't, I'm, so we get a knock at the door? See,
Yeah, that's
that's,
crazy.
that's the thing. If you do not want Gaza to stop, if you do not see the difference between the Israeli government and what they're doing to those people, as opposed to and the Jewish faith, then you're supporting the same things that ICE is doing to people of color in the United States, and that will get worse because it's the same thing. So
If you
for
support
Laura,
those things, you support genocide and racism. I don't care what you say, you do. You support it.
and I bring this up only because it breaks my heart to see that, and I sit there and I go, I did my part to put someone that was going to be in the White House who had common sense that was going to help solve this. It was not going to be easy, but it wasn't going to be
No,
this. But
no.
now we've got power to be that literally Netanyahu is going to give Trump land.
Yeah.
He will do it.
Oh,
And
no
it will
question.
be, and the thing about it, if you, then I will ask you, MAGA or you independents, do you think it's both sides now when I discuss this?
Yeah.
I want to hear from you because you know it ain't true. But hey, you do you. Hope you sleep well.
Yeah, no shit. Well, Will, I'm going to wrap things up for the
Cool.
Rational Boomer podcast. Thanks for joining me. I know we
Appreciate
needed to start the week off strong, and we did that by having you in. So thanks very much for showing up.
No problem. Again, I'm on TikTok at Kumquat6, on TikTok KUMQUAT, the number 6. It's a fruit. You can find me at Binder38US on Substack, and again, Binder38US on YouTube. Again, I will tell all you guys who follow me and Mike, we do this for a public service so you guys know what's going on because you get a lot of bullshit, but do not buy into the fear. Get
Right.
pissed. And that's the
I
only
will
thing
say
to
this.
say.
I will say this too. Every time Will's on, people love having him on. And if you love hearing him on the Rational Boomer podcast and you're not following, what the fuck? The fuck are you doing? He does this every day. So if you like what you're hearing here, and I know you do because I see the comments, follow Will at Kumquat6 on TikTok and Binder US 38,
38
um,
US at YouTube
38
and
US. I'm sorry, Binder 38 US on YouTube. Check it out. I think you're on Substack too, right?
yeah, Substack. I I do some lives. I haven't done one in a while. I've been busy, but I'll see if I can remedy that
Well,
this week.
I do some Substack lives, and we'll probably do this one this week. And the last one I did with TJ. So maybe you and I can do a Substack live.
Yeah, that would be fun to see how that rolls. we'll work it out. We're busy old man to make sure our bodies work first before
Yeah,
we
no shit.
forward.
No shit.
Got you,
For
brother.
those of you listening, thanks for taking the time. I hope you have a great day. We will talk to you again tomorrow.